Hey guys, EBP Man here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Nesta. This is an all-terrain riding foldable electric bike. Now, the Nesta can power your rides using pedal assist technology that can give you what I would call almost like superpowers when riding a bike. It has a 40-mile electric range and a top speed of 20 miles. But don't worry, it's also an 8-speed bike too, so you don't have to worry about running out of power because it's human powered as well. Now, I've been testing the Nesta for a month now, going to and from our local grocery stores, and then also going on casual rides with Nova. I have to say that I really love this bike. It has an aggressive look. The fat tires provide a super smooth and stable ride in all terrains. And it's fast. It brings a smile to Nilda's face every single time she rides this bike, especially when she hits the power. And she has that superpower ability to go super fast. Now, this bike is an electric bike that has a foldable design. And it would fall in the category that I would say mini and compact, even though it's larger. Because again, of the compact nature, not only does the bike fold, but the pedals also fold as well, giving you a lot of flexibility when it comes to transporting this bike. And it's also super solid. It's built for durability, and it's built for speed. Now, the Nesta is also very well spec'd and is suitable for riders anywhere from 5 feet to 6.4. Now, the motor has a nominal output of 750 watts and a 1,000 watt peak output. Now, to charge the battery, it's going to take about 6 hours. And the estimated riding range is about 40 miles. So that's going to vary based on your weight, obviously, and your overall use with throttle and things of that nature. Now, the onboard screen is going to give you time, speed, battery. It's going to also give you information about your power assist mode, right? Which is going to be anywhere from level 1 all the way up to level 5. The odometer is there, and also the watt output is there. Now, this bike has 3 driving modes: a cadence sensing pedal assist mode, and then it also has a trigger throttle that you're going to be able to use like if you were using a scooter. Now, the other thing about it is that the last mode is human powered mode. And that is, you can use this as an 8-speed bike and just pedal if you don't want any power assist. Now, the frame is 17 inches, and the gearing, as I mentioned, is a 8-speed. So you can actually throttle or change the gears really easily with the actual gear control to either bring it up or bring it down. Now, from a tire perspective, you're looking at 20-inch by 4-inch fat tires, which gives you that super smooth ride and the aggressive look that I really like. The weight of the bike itself is 65 pounds, so it's a little on the heavy side. It's not definitely something that you're going to carry on your back by any means, but it is easy to move around, especially in the folded state, or even if you're just moving it like a normal bike. Now, before we take a closer look at the bike itself, I wanted to share with you what has been my riding experience. And I have to say that if you ride a normal bike, if you've ever ridden a normal bike, this bike is super easy to ride. It's easy to get on, and it's easy to get off, and it really functions no different than a traditional bike. That, of course, is for one exception, and that is that pedal assist feature, which is absolutely amazing. It's like, the only way I can put it is like if you had an exoskeleton on with superpowers that allowed you to lift things, jump higher, and in this case, pedal faster than you ever did before. Now, literally, level 1 is like pushing the pedal just slightly and then catapulting yourself to maybe up to 5 miles an hour. Everyone who's tried this bike, just, we have smiles from ear to ear. It's just all smiles because they see the power. But it's also something that freaks people out. So if you're going to be using this bike, what I would really recommend is that you always start with level 0, even if you're an experienced rider. Because if you get on the bike and hit that pedal, this bike is going to go. Now, in my experience, depending on the actual level that you have the pedal sense, you could go from like 0 to 5 or 0 to 10 like that. So make sure, again, if you're going to use this bike, that you first get used to it, and then also that you always start out at 0. That's what I typically do. Sometimes I even start riding this bike with the power completely off, and I start with the normal bike mode because, again, it's an 8-speed bike, and I'm able to enjoy it as a normal bike. And then when I want to have the pedal assist because I want to get there fast, I turn that on. Or what I also do is I will just go complete electric. Now, one thing I'll mention is that I had Nilda try the bike, and as I mentioned in the intro, she was just all smiles when she got on it. She is not a super bike fan. We do biking, and as soon as she hit that pedal and she saw the speed, all you saw was that smile. And it did freak her out at first, and I did tell her about the speed, and I started it out at 0, and then she was able to switch up. But one of the things I wanted to mention is that the bike also has great brakes. The front and back braking system are superb. So if you want to stop on a dime, all you have to do is hold on. I would also recommend, if you do get this bike, that you do test out the brakes and learn how to use them, because again, the braking system is pretty awesome and you don't want to have those sudden stops. So learn the pressure, learn how to get that sudden stop if you need it, but then also how to slow down, which is what I would recommend. Now, the other thing that I found that was pretty amazing about the bike is the shock system. Now, combining the tires, those fat tires with the wide tires, it gives you a different experience. Now, I've had 10-speed bikes. I have mountain bikes myself, but they don't have the fat tire design. And I'll tell you, the difference with this bike, riding a traditional bike, is like riding a luxury car. As we were going over potholes, small ones, not really big ones in Chicago, or also speed bumps, because we have speed bumps in Chicago too to keep things slower. I actually literally tensed up to go over a bump, as I typically would on a scooter or on my other bike, and I slowed down. And this thing was like, clunk, clunk. I was like, what happened here? And I noticed that it does have a shock system in front. So the tires, being wide, displace the actual impact really nicely, but then the front fork has an adjustable suspension system. It actually has an adjustment that you can adjust to have a different riding experience. I didn't feel anything. I was just like freaking out, saying like, what happened here? So that also gives you that fantastic ride. Now, my personal preference and what I enjoy about the bike also is the fact that I can use this as a standard bike. Now, keep in mind, we always keep it powered. We always charge the battery. But, being able to start out and just bike as a normal 8-speed and hear that, that little clicking that goes on when you start pedaling backwards on a bike, it's just really satisfying. It's kind of a little old school. But just overall, the ride experience and being able to start in the bike mode is pretty great. The steering actual handlebars themselves have some really nice grip, I would say, that allows you to really steer the bike well. And then you also don't have to really squeeze really hard, is something else that I found. So as we're riding scooters, for example, and some other bikes that we have, we tend to put a lot of pressure on it. I don't know why, but with this bike, just the way it's designed and the way the handlebar grips are, we don't suffer any fatigue. And Nova is one that suffers from carpal tunnel, and that's also something really important to her. So being able to ride this, not put a lot of grip on it, and then also having all of the gears and the control within thumb distance. So literally, if you think about your thumbs, you're able to move this way and that way, and then have access to the manual speed of the 8-speed bike, or to change the modes, or even to use the 100% electric power. And then also, let's not forget that getting off the bike, because it doesn't have the center bar, is also very easy. Now, this bike also features the ability for you to remove and bring the battery in your home. Or, for example, if you're parking it somewhere outside and you need to lock it up, and you just don't want to make the bike stand down, right? You want to be able to take that out. You do have a key solution that allows you to unlock the battery and take it with you. Now, this is really great, because what you could then do is, let's say you're using this in an office setting, what you could do is bring the actual battery indoor and then leave it charging. Now, I do have a lot of friends that bring the bikes indoor as well, so if you don't want to have it next to your desk, or you have a common place where you put bikes in the office, then what you could do is actually take the battery and then charge it underneath your desk. So that's going to give you a lot of flexibility. So now let's go ahead and take a closer look at the Nesta eSpin. I'll tell you, if you're looking for a bike that is hybrid electric powered, just right now, this is the bike to get. It's fantastic. Now, one of the most striking things about the eSpin Nesta are the tires. And you can see that these have some really thick tires, Fat Boy tires, matter of fact. And the cool thing about these tires is it's going to do two things for you. First of all, it does give you an incredibly stable ride. When you're riding this bike, the larger tires give you more stability. They give you a better ride. And not only do they give you the stability in the ride, but as you're going off terrain, it gives you just better traction. In addition to having those robust tires, you do have some nice mud guards in the front and the back. And what you'll notice is in the front of the bike and in the back, there's a lot of mounting options that you can actually, let's say, purchase add-ons that are going to give you the ability to carry more goods. So there is a bike rack, a back rack, and there's also a front rack that you can purchase that's going to allow you to carry groceries, books, any kind of supplies that you'd want, really expanding the use of the bike. Now, in addition to having great suspension coming from the tires, you do also have a front shock absorbing system that at first I didn't know what it was, but I noticed that it is adjustable. And you heard that right. You have the ability to adjust the ride itself. I was riding over a speed bump here in Chicago, and I was just ready to get that bump. I stiffened myself, and when I went over it, I was like, "Wow, what just happened?" And I didn't realize that it had such a fantastic suspension system in the front. It's actually adjustable, where you can adjust it. You can lock it into place, and it was like the difference between riding I would say, a lesser vehicle and maybe something like a Tesla or a Lexus because of the overall ride and feel. Now, in addition to having the actual shock absorber that you see up in front, we'll turn the tire this way so you can see. You do have a front-facing LED light that's bright, and it's going to help you if you're riding at night, not only be seen, but for you to see what's going on in front of you. Now, everything on this bike is fully adjustable, and you're going to notice that these little levers that you see everywhere, you see them here, you see them here. And what I like about it is that it doesn't require any tools to adjust pretty much anything on this bike. Traditional bikes require you to take out a wrench or some type of pliers or some tools to be able to adjust the height of the seat or anything of that sort. So here's a couple things. So the first thing you have is everything has these little locks, and you're going to find them here and you find them here. But what this lock will do is it will allow you to unlock. It has a latch mechanism right here that allows you to fold the actual steering column like this. So that is great, especially if you're going to be taking this, putting this in the back of your car in a trunk. So you can really make this even more compact. And then simply locking it back, as soon as you put it back in place, the side here is going to lock into place as well. Now, the steering column is also super adjustable. You have this adjustment right here where you can just open this up, raise and lower the bar. And it does have some measuring guides right here that you can look at to determine what is the optimal for your height. Now, the seat is also adjustable. You do have in the back here another lever that allows you to raise and lower the seat if you'd like to. And then what you have right here is the folding mechanism for the bike. So as soon as you move this, and then you're able to push this out. So I'll go ahead and open it like this. What ends up happening is this opens up, and then the bike actually has the ability to fold. So you see how it folds inwards like this? Literally, that's all you have to do. Open this mechanism up. This will open up. You can fold the actual handlebar as well, and it becomes super compact. Now, another cool aspect about this bike is that this bike is not only an electric bike. I put it in the hybrid because it could be human-powered or it could be electrical-powered. Now, as you saw when we were talking about the specs, you could go 40 miles on this bike with a 20-mile-per-hour speed. But this is also human-powered as well. And listen to this. Hear that clicking? Yeah. This is a traditional 8-speed bike, and you can see all the gears over here, and you're able to adjust the gears to the right, I would say, tension so that you can have the best riding experience, especially if you're using the pedal assist technology. Now, it does have, traditional, I would say, gear shift here in the back, and the gears are managed by this knob right here. So you have two knobs that you can work with. One that moves the gear up, and then one that moves the gear down so that you can shift upwards or downward, which is pretty cool. Now, another cool thing about the bike when it comes to transportation is the ability for you to literally push this in like this and fold, watch, push it in, and fold the actual pedal in. This is great, especially if you're transporting this in the car, or if you get on a subway or on a train and you don't want to hit your shin with one of these. If you've ever gotten knocked by one of these, it's pretty painful. So I really appreciate the fact that these can stow away like this. And then when you just want to use it again, you just pull it out just like that, and you're set to go. Now, the bike also does feature a 2-disc system. So you notice that you have a disc system in the back, disc system in the front, and they're both controlled here at the top by the steering column. Extremely, extremely responsive. So I highly recommend that before you start going a long distance, that you try out the brake system so you can get used to that and also the actual power of the bike. Now, the bike does have a removable battery. This battery comes off really easily. It does have a fuel gauge on the opposite side that we'll show you a little bit later. All you have to do is push the button, and then the fuel gauge turns on and off. It does have a key system that allows you to take off the battery, and that means that if you want to, let's say, chain this up, but take the battery with you so that it becomes less attractive for someone to steal, you can actually take the battery with you. Or if you want to charge your battery in your home, you can actually leave the bike out in the garage, take the battery out with you, and then put it to charge. Now, the handlebar itself has some really nice grips here on the side that really allow you to control the bike nicely. This is the main, I would say, power cluster. You have your power button, your mode for your display. You then have where you can increase the pedal assist, either go down or go up. This is if you want to go 100% electric, your braking system, and then in the middle here, you actually have your display. Now, the display is easy to read. It has, I still have the plastic on it, but what you can do is you can switch from different pedal assist modes. You notice that you have a 1 right here, PAS. What we're going to do is we're going to press up, that's pedal assist 2, 3, 4, 5, And as you turn on or increase the amount of pedal assist or decrease it, it just means that the bike is going to help you as you pedal along. It's almost like having superpowers, as I've mentioned before. One pedal with even a 1 catapults you almost to 5 to 10 miles an hour, which is pretty spectacular. Then you have also different modes that you can display here. They're just going to go through different, again, indicators of what's going on with the bike and also your mileage. I'll go ahead and power that off. Now the gears are located on the right side, and you have 2 controls. You have 1 control to reduce the gear and 1 to increase the gear. You can see how it goes from 1 all the way up to 8. And you see a really nice clear indicator. Very analog, but very clear to read. You also have your other braking right here that allows you to brake, and the same gripping system as you did on the other side. So right now, guys, we are testing out the E-Speed. So this is an 8-speed bike, but it has pedals. So right now, I'm pretty much pedaling myself. But if I were to put it on gear 1, I just want to show you the difference in speed. What ends up happening is you do get a bump in speed immediately. I'm going to put it in speed 2 once we get over this speed bump right here. Slow down right here for a second. Speed bump. Now, speed 2. See how much faster it goes. So right now, it says 15 miles an hour. And see Nilda in front of me. I'm going to go speed 3, level 3. The scooter's now, the bike is actually going 19.1 miles an hour. And we're going to slow down right here just for a second. And we're going to continue to pedal. And you can see it's not humanly possible, at least not for me, to be able to get to 18 miles an hour with very little effort. So one other thing that you could do is on the side here, you have your different speeds for the 8-speed, right? On the very bottom, you have the selector for your speed, and that's just going to change the amount of tension or how much power you have to put in to actual pedaling. You have 2 brakes. You have your dial here, which you have the ability to control your display. And here, if you would want to use this as a scooter or pure EV, you can actually just push that button. So guys, that wraps up our review of the Nesta 21 from Eastbend, a fantastic bike that gets you from point A to point B, but does it not only in style, but it's also a fun bike to ride. And if for those of you who are purists and you want to be able to work out, you can use this as a workout bike too, meaning that you can make it human powered. But when you need that electrical, it's there for you. And you know what I'll say? You probably use the electric more than you thought. See you in the next video.